What I'm going to talk about in this video is box cutters. So everybody should know what a box cutter is. This is your old Stanley type knife. Very sharp, meant for cutting open boxes, etc., etc. This is the more modern version. Flips out, locks open like a pocket knife. But again, you've got that very sharp disposable blade, replaceable blade. Now, box cutters were a favorite with football hooligans, soccer hooligans. Their main aim was not to kill people, but was to scar people. And these, being a short blade, if they cut somebody, they can't be done for, well, they can be done for attempted murder, but generally these are not going to cut deep enough to kill somebody, but they're going to leave nasty, nasty scars. Yeah. Now I'm doing this video because somebody approached me recently, a friend of a friend, and they were cut with a box cutter with two blades in them. And that is an old football hooligan, soccer hooligan trick. And for this video, I've placed two blades in this box cutter. And you see, even though this has got two blades in it, it opens and closes no problems. You can do the same with these, but you have to wedge that open a little bit. From a security point of view, if you're searching people and you come across a box cutter, and in some places these are legal to carry due to the very short blade length, and they've got two blades in that box cutter, I strongly expect they're not carrying it to cut boxes with. They're carrying it to cut people with. The reason for the two blades is because they create a greater scar. And as I said, most soccer hooligans, well, football hooligans, gangbangers, etc., if they're carrying these, they don't want to kill somebody, they want to scar them, they want to mark them so that person remembers they've been cut for the rest of their lives, right? So here I got a pepper, and these are good so you can see how the difference is in the cuts. This is your single blade, okay? So that's going to leave one cut. You see it there? Just one slice. And you know what? These are, again, as I say to a lot of weapons, these are nasty weapons. If you get cut with one of these, it's going to cut deep and it's going to scar. I know a guy that was cut up in a nightclub with box cutters years ago. He said he didn't feel it until he got outside. He got outside the nightclub, he felt the cold on the cuts. He looked down and he was covered in blood. And that guy needed something like 60 stitches. He wasn't hurt severely, but he was severely scarred. Yeah. Now this is a double blade, and you can see the difference in the cuts. Now you see here, there's two cuts. There's two slices. And the thing is, for a doctor to stitch this up, they can't stitch up the middle part, so they have to stitch over the cut. Now what that's going to do is leave a big welt, whereas the little scar you can, well, the single blade, you just stitch that up and yeah, it's still going to leave a scar, but not as big a scar, not as big a welt as this. Because again, that's a nasty, nasty double cut. Now, another trick with the football hooligans, etc., if it was a preemptive attack, just to separate these blades a little bit. If you separate these blades with, I'm just using a piece of cardboard, a piece of paper. If I can get that in there. And all we're doing is separating that blade a little bit. Now, I'm sure some people watching this video is going to be like, well, I'm teaching hooliganism, etc. I tell you what, the criminals already know this shit. They know it, they understand it, so this is nothing new. Now, with those blades wedged open a little bit, and the hooligans use bits of paper, matchstick, etc., anything that can separate the blades. Now with that cut, you can see that's a lot more opened up. And again, there's no way you could stitch up that center piece of, well, it would be flesh, here it's pepper. There's no way that could be stitched up. To stitch that up, you'd have to stitch over. So again, that would leave a very, very nasty, nasty scar. And that's what a lot of the soccer hooligans, gangbangers were after, football hooligans were after. They were after marking people. Why? They wanted that person to remember what they'd done wrong and why they were cut. So from a security point of view, if you see somebody carrying, if you come across somebody carrying a box cutter and they've got double blades, they're not using that box cutter to cut open boxes. It's a weapon. So it's something to be aware of. But box cutters are freely available. They're legal in most places. They're not legal to carry in most places, but they are in a lot more places than carrying something like this, which is legal in some locations, but not legal in all locations. That's a 4-inch blade and it's locked. Where I am now, that's legal to carry, but in a lot of cases, in a lot of places, something like this, nobody's going to bat an eyelid on. But if you're caught carrying something like that, you're going to have big problems. Whereas this can make a mess of somebody just as much as that can. Yeah. So, a little bit of information there. Hope it's been of help. And if you've got any stories, etc., send them over to me. If you've got any information on street weapons, older weapons, etc., I'm interested to hear about them. So send me an email, send me a message, and we'll have a chat. Happy to talk about such things. So take care, stay out of trouble.